What up? What up? It's Rec League Podcast, man. I want to say episode 147. I ain't check off top of my head. I feel like in my Red One review the other day, I said 147. So y'all can check the receipts, cause I'm just guessing. My name is Randy Little. Y'all know what it is. Um, I get on this. I get on here and I ramble for a little bit. Explain to you guys that I got Rocket with me. I got Nick with me this episode. Just like we did in October, we're gonna go back to back weeks. Cause life, I'm trying to get my 2 episodes in a month, but life is intervening to where every other weekend isn't going down at the moment. I don't know if y'all care or not, but it's Rec League. There's no structure. There's no order. There's no schedule. We swerve and maneuver in and out whenever we can. I'm a veteran. I was in the military. I like structure and I like order, but also improvisation is what has to be key. So we start off winging it, talk about a little news topics, and then reboots. I started rewatching the Daniel Craig Bond movies, so I thought reboots would be a fun discussion that I'm not sure that we've had before. But over 6 years, how can I remember every single thing we've talked about? Recently in the cinema, the Cineplex, the movie theater, on the 8th, the weekend of the 8th of November, what came out? Heretic, the religious horror Hugh Grant movie. The best Christmas pageant ever. I ain't see either one of those. I'm curious about Heretic though. This current weekend, the weekend of November the 15th, we got Red One, which I'm telling you, originally I feel like this movie was supposed to go to Prime like a year ago, and then it's in the theater. I put a review up, as I said. It's cool. Some streaming movies probably came out. I don't know. This upcoming weekend, we got Wicked, the Wizard of Oz prequel, which I don't think it's like canon to the original movie, but I think the Wizard of Oz is one of those properties where anybody can make their own interpretation. Because you got Oz the Great and Powerful from Disney, but MGM made the Wizard of Oz, which I think Warner Brothers currently has the rights to, and then Wicked is from Universal, this two-part thing that John M. Chu is doing with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. And then Gladiator 2, 24 years later, Ridley Scott finally gave us a sequel to his classic. I'm super hyped for Gladiator 2. Thanksgiving Wednesday, all I really know that's coming out is Moana 2. Which, 8 years, it feels like it's too soon, but like, let's keep it a buck. Wreck-It Ralph got a sequel within like 6 years. Frozen got a sequel within like 6 years. So Moana 2 getting a sequel after 8 years, I guess, isn't that bad. I'm excited for that one too. Should we take it to Tuesday, the 5th of November, physical media releases? I see, speaking of Wizard of Oz, I see a 4K. The Crow came out. Strange Darling came out, which I still don't have my copy of. Blink Twice came out, which I barely just got my copy of. The 4:30 movie, Trap, It Ends With Us. That was a expensive Tuesday. This past Tuesday, the 12th of November, I see a Scarface, original Scarface, 1932 Scarface Criterion, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie on 4K. Supposedly, Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated show that was on Paramount Plus, supposedly got a physical. I don't have my copy yet. Amazon will probably get it to me in January. But this was more of a light Tuesday. I see a 1951 Christmas Carol Blu-ray. Arrow put out Invasion. I thought they put out something else. I see a King of Queens remake. This upcoming Tuesday is what, the 19th, which is also a pocket killer. Terminator on 4K, Godzilla Minus One, Arrow's putting out A Simple Plan from Sam Raimi, Beetlejuice, North by Northwest, Blazing Saddles all on 4K, House of the Dragon Season 2, Speak No Evil, Killer's Game, Reagan, all coming out on physical media. And then lastly, the Tuesday next to, like I said, we're going to do another pod, but next Tuesday, the 26th, and I'll end up saying this shit again on that episode. I see A Shape of Water 4K. Hush, that was like exclusive to Netflix, is coming out on physical. Looks to be only on 4K though, sons of bitches. I see some Looney Tunes Blu-rays. I see some like 4Ks that didn't come out when the movie originally came out on Blu-ray, like Bones and All. Another Hush 4K. Different versions of Hush on 4K, but no Hush on Blu-ray. Shit annoys me. Hush is the big release next Tuesday. That's all we really need to know. So I'll be back. We will be talking some news, some reboots. It is Rec League Podcast. Make sure you give us a review, a rating, 5 stars, 1 star, whatever. No matter where in the world you are, it is all love, baby. Hello, children. Supposed to hit y'all last week, but between illness and somebody's alarm not going off, we gonna double up in November again. These two dudes is obligated to reconvene next week. I know what we talking about next week. I don't know what we talking about today. So let's see how this goes. How you guys feel? Minnesota, Virginia, how's it going?
Good.
EP.
Good.
Really? It's like 10.
What?
I said sleepy, and then I was like, not really. It's like 10:30. It's like normal.
Yeah.
An hour.
But it's like Rocket picked up a can and took a drink, put it down. Then Nick picked up the exact same can, took a drink, and put it down. Well,
Wait, really?
No, they were different cans. Sounded funny though.
We both
Oh, okay.
boxing match.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't want to know about that.
Keep
My payout for that.
keep all the cheeks contained. Keep all the cheeks contained.
That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I was like, did I just see what I saw?
Oh yeah.
I don't really watch these sporting events. A man's ass.
I feel like first of all, we gotta show that love right quick. Our huge RIP to Quincy Jones. Without Quincy Jones, we don't get no Fresh Prince and so many other classic, iconic, legendary contributions to music and movies. So, talk about it.
It's true. I just watched The Wiz the other day for like the first time front to back in years. Like I used to watch it when I was little. Jesus Christ. That's such a bizarre movie. But like he had his hands all in that movie. But I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, and I could definitely be mistaken, but I think was working with Michael Jackson on that was like where they started like cooking up ideas for like his solo music. I could be wrong. That could be, but I think that's what it was. And so trying to think of like a possibility where like Quincy Jones isn't around, like we don't necessarily have Michael Jackson's solo music the way that we have it is pretty.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
I mean,
Legend.
he also helped produce the remake of The Color Purple.
True.
He had a hand in that. I mean,
You did the original too.
Yeah. I mean, he had his hands like Nick is saying in so many things, whether especially in music, but he helped also do the remake of produced Bel Air. He's done he's helped with I think The Fresh Prince of Bel Air is probably one of the best shows of all time. Whether it's comedy, drama, put them together, it's definitely up there. I think in the top 10.
It's one of my top 5 sitcoms ever.
You know, so I mean,
And Bel Air is
he's- and-
fire.
and that's the thing is, his main thing at the time too was music. That's what he was known for. But people don't know how much he had also in the, say, movie/TV world as well, what he had his hands on behind the scenes. So I mean, definitely a big loss in the entertainment industry in itself.
Yeah.
Did even though it wasn't the Austin Powers theme.
He was in Goldmember.
Mhm.
Man, he composed the original Italian Job, Out of Towners, Getaway from '72. Y'all said The Wiz. He produced Steel with Shaquille O'Neal.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Composed Get Rich or Die Trying. I didn't know Cosby had so many damn shows. He composed like 2 of them motherfuckers. Sanford and Son
Sanford and Son.
was EP on the LL Cool J in the House. EP on Mad TV. Here goes some acting credits.
That's
Mogul.
exactly what it is, Nick. And that's and like you said, Mogul. He was known for the music world,
Yeah.
but very quietly. Look what he did for like I said, movie/TV. Like what was he attached to? You know, it wasn't. You know, not many people know that side of it as well.
It's also worth noting that he gave Rashida Jones,
Yes.
and we are better for that.
That's a
I know
fact.
Love Rashida.
And then also, in the last month or so, we lost horror icon Tony Todd.
It's true.
Candyman,
That's right.
Final Destination, Night of the Living Dead remake. But then he was in The Rock.
Yeah.
So much
That's
TV.
Dad, like when I was like, man, Tony Todd died, the Candyman. He was like, I don't know. And I was like, did you ever watch The Rock? And he was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, I don't listen to soft ass shit. And then I was talking about it. He was like, oh, that guy. And I was like, yeah.
Oh.
But that's the bummer. I always heard, I'm not a big, like, I don't go to conventions really. It just sounds like an anxiety attack to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I've consistently for like decades, forever, like heard that he's like one of the nicest guys that you could meet. Like he always is like excited to meet fans, like take pictures with them. And that's very important.
Yeah, that's dope.
I always heard he was really great. And like the Candyman, that's like iconic on like a really high level. Like you don't always hear the Candyman in the same conversation. Oh, Art the Clown, he's this iconic Freddy and Jake and Michael and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe one day. But it's like we need to like there was like and then it's like Leatherface. I was like, the Candyman is on that list.
Yes.
Facts.
Like if we're talking about the Mount Rushmore, maybe he's on there, maybe he's not. But it's like he's in that conversation. It's like who are the 4 heads? So the Candyman was legendary when I was little.
Yeah.
It's used to like we used to stand in the daycare playground. And they were just like, "Bet you won't do it." And I was like, "You're right.
You're right.
Why risk it? I don't need that shit in my
Yeah,
life."
like, Candyman was so disturbing way back that I had relatives that wouldn't let me watch it at like 7 years old. They was like, nah, he's not watching Candyman.
I saw it a little later. I was probably like maybe like 10, 11. But it was like it was like when it was around, it was like they talked about it. They were like, "Oh, have you seen Candyman?" I've seen Candyman. And it was like, no, you haven't. You're 4. You're this many years.
Yo, but he was in Bulletproof too, though.
This is true. I mean, he was in tons of movies.
Yeah.
That's
It's like Robert Englund. You look at his filmography, like he's probably in lots of stuff. But it's just like, no, he was Freddy Krueger. He's a horror icon. You just kind of become that.
Mm-hmm.
It was really dope that the Candyman, like what we call it, a requel, included him.
Yeah.
God, that was so good.
Mhm.
right?
Agreed.
We let that come and go too quickly. That movie was so good.
Normies
Yeah.
did. I want a sequel. Normies let it
Yeah.
come and go.
I was like, let's do more. The ending, with him like at the end, and it just like that's the end of the movie. I remember like sitting there. Wow, hey, that was great. Night of the Living Dead. He's great in that movie.
Yeah, the remake. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know they're like cooking up another Final Destination. A lot of people were like, I was hoping he'd be in it. I don't know if he is or isn't.
He's listed on Wikipedia as a part of the
Yeah.
cast. So we know how unreliable Wikipedia can be.
He's great in Final Destination. He was one. He's not in 3.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah. Was he in 5?
I believe he was in 5. Yeah. He
That's
does
just
a I think he does a
sinister.
voiceover of like one of the rides. Technically, he is in 3. He's just not physically in 3.
Mhm.
He was in Hellfest too. Speaking of rides, they get to Hellfest. I don't know if you've ever seen Hellfest, but they
Fantastic movie. I'm pissed that they didn't make a sequel because I wanted to see the way it ended.
Yeah, I guess I need to go back and grab that.
He's doing he's like the announcer guy at the
Mhm.
amusement park. And that's fun.
Hellfest is a good one. Underrated. I think.
Hellfest, yeah, it was very simple, just kind of straightforward slasher.
Mhm.
And I was like, it would never get a theater release now. Even that was like 2000, like 18.
Yeah.
I think so.
It'd never get it would just go to like Netflix or something now, and we'd be like, that was fun. But I just remember watching it in the theater and being like, this is good. It's not like a real like a whodunit. It's just kind of like, oh shit, there he is, and I like that. And Tony Todd was in it. I remember that being a thing. Like I was like, yeah, they got Tony Todd in here. This is great. But yeah, that bummed me out. I went and saw Anora in the theater, which was phenomenal, by the way. But I remember like coming out like,
Really?
God, that was great. Got in my car, opened my phone, and I was like,
Randy, you motherfucker.
yeah, son of a bitch.
Randy,
I was like, guys, guess what I just saw? And it was like, not now, Nick.
the bad news bear, the bear of bad news.
It was like that. I guess that's life.
Yeah, he was like 69.
That's way too young. I think he was ill.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately.
He's
For
in a
all
movie
of
called,
us.
to counteract the Bulletproof 2, though, he is in a movie called Bitch Ass. The Nick Goodman story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Story of my life. The Chronicles of Nick.
Bitch Ass Nick.
Bitch ass.
Dude, it's been, what, like 3 weeks since we've been on? The only like news thing that I have is the scary movie news. How do we really feel about a new scary movie involved with the Wayans?
I need everyone involved.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because, like, Marlon Wayans, bless him, has still been doing. He did like the haunted house, which was funny. Like it had its moments, but it was not great. And then he did like the haunted house 2, which was not good. He did what was that, like 50 Shades of Grey thing? He did.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch that, which is weird.
He was
Like,
trying to keep the spoof genre alive and not really succeeding.
I didn't even watch it, which to me is weird. Like I'm just like, yeah, the Marlon Wayans doing a spoof like that should be shit. And it's like I just remember being like, I don't care. This looks bad. I'm sorry. So I need everyone involved.
50 Shades of Black.
I'm sorry. I didn't watch it. And then I need Anna Faris and Regina Hall in it.
Oh yeah.
Like without like these are like it's like the bear. Like these are non-negotiables.
Mm-hmm.
I need them in it.
Like
I like maybe get like David Zucker like involved again.
No.
3, 4 underrated. I'm sorry. Like Scary Movie 3 is just as good as 1 and 2.
I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3.
I'm gonna say that on
Not 4.
guillotine. 4 is funny.
If
4
the
is
script
not as good as
references,
3,
that's cool.
but 4 if only for the Grudge kid just speaking the fake Japanese, which is racist as hell, but it's if only for that. I'm like, 4 is funny. Four makes me laugh my ass off. It's not as good as 1, 2, and 3. 3 is as good as 1 and 2. I'm ready to say that is my last words. Like, I'll say that in front of a jury. 3 is almost as good as 1 and 2. Like,
you bring back Ja Rule, leave everything else out of the new one. It's got to be called Scary Movie, and it's got to spoof the Halloween, Scream. It's got to spoof the sequels that are just called the same thing as the original.
I mean, there's so much. I mean, it's like, if we're talking like what movies, like they're gonna do the Megan dance.
Oh yeah,
Quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, there's constant like. Notice we don't even mention Scream 5. That's funny to me.
And I agree with Nick. I think they got to bring back Keenan Ivory Wayans. I mean, he helped write the first.
He's got to direct.
Like, you got to bring. Yeah, it's him, Damon Wayans, like the whole family needs to come in.
Yeah,
and behind the scene, whether they're acting in the movie, behind the scene, I think after the first couple of scary movies, like they were good. Like that whole franchise wasn't bad. Like towards the end, it kind of fizzled. Like you said, like 50 Shades of Black. Yeah, I'm like you. I ain't not watched that at all. They were the ones that kept the spoof genre alive. The Wayans family did, in my opinion. And now, man, spoof movies are just terrible when they try to do one. So I mean, I feel like Damon Wayans, Keenan Ivory Wayans, Marlon Wayans, Sean Wayans, like just get the whole Wayans family involved with their producing, directing, acting. But like you said, Regina Bell, Anna Faris,
Regina Hall, sir.
You got to bring that whole crew back, huh?
Regina Hall, sir.
Regina Hall, excuse me.
Regina.
You got to get that whole crew back. Got to get the whole crew back.
Like,
who is Regina Bell?
She's a singer, I think.
Lawrence Bell.
Okay.
But my thing is this. Okay. My thing is this, though, is this is the like you were asking Randy, like back to the question, how do we feel? It's hard to say, but I feel like we felt the same way when Top Gun Maverick was coming out. X amount, decades, years later, we were like, I don't know, it might be too late, or so it's a different genre. This is comedy, and it's a spoof genre, which is very hard to do. But I also think about that. If you like Nick saying, like you were saying, you get that same crew together so many years back, get them back together. I can't remember when the last spoof movie they did as a crew together. It might be the right time to try it. I'm not saying it's going to be successful, but it's the right time to try it with all these old IPs waiting 10 plus years later or 20 plus years later to bring them back. So I mean, why not?
I think we, our generation, those of us that can take a joke, we're gonna eat it up.
Yeah.
But the 20-somethings who get offended by everything, oh my god, I'm so offended. But
they canceled Pepe Le Pew. That was my guy.
He's not canceled.
Just a rapist.
Does this mean I'm gonna have to rewatch Scary Movie 5?
Yeah.
Blech.
Scary Movie 5 has one thing with Snoop Dogg and what's his name? Mac Miller. They're out in the woods talking. That whole little sequence is pretty funny.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Whole little thing.
Fuck Scary Movie 5.
Woods. But even Scary Movie 5 had some of the same ingredients. It was like Simon Rex was in Scary Movie 5 and like Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. I mean, did that one even, like, was Zucker even involved in that one? Or was that just one somebody made?
He produced. I guess He wrote it.
I'm fine with him coming back. I mean, he did Airplane.
Nah.
I remember, like, in high school, like, when they were doing the sequels, like, I was like, really, yeah, the guy who did The Naked Gun. I was like, really? He's doing Scary Movie?
I feel like that's going to be some of the Wayans non-negotiables. No white people involved.
Anna Faris, like, to me,
except
like,
for her.
Have to. Like, I remember,
she's part of the family.
4
Yeah.
coming out. I remember Scary Movie 4 coming out like in the middle of that. Like, who were those fuckheads who like kept making
Fuckheads.
the
The
movies?
date movie Meet the Spartans idiots.
Yeah, fuck that.
That
Yeah.
guy was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Scary Movie 4 coming out like in the middle of that, and it was like way better. Like I remember watching that, and then you had like Disaster Movie. What was the fucking Twilight one? Like it was like, dude,
Vampires suck.
why doing this? Vampires.
What the one called Movie 43 or some shit?
Yeah, those
like
were
that, too?
cheeks. Movie
That
43 is horrible, but it's not one of those.
It was different. Movie 43 was like, I remember laughing at it though.
Because wasn't Chris Evans in that?
Everybody was in it,
Maybe
but everybody tried to disown that shit.
it's
Hugh Jackman had
everybody
balls
thought
on
it
his
was a
throat.
yeah, and like Kate Winslet, Emma Stone, Kieran Culkin, like they're like so many people in this. But Chris Pratt,
There are Oscar winners in that movie.
Ferris, yeah,
Yeah, Anna Faris was in it too.
yeah.
Hey man, everybody has a bad project, so
That's a fact.
What's his name from Liev Schreiber was in it. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
everybody thought it was like a bunch of like
skits.
short, like different directors, and I think everybody thought it was just like, oh, on paper, this sounds hilarious. It's like, no, actually,
It's really ass.
I remember laughing at it though. I guess maybe I need to bite the bullet, rewatch it. I do own it.
I watched it a couple
But
years ago.
We're talking about Scary Movie, but I mean, there's so much. I mean, how many notable horror movies have come out? You know, like Hereditary, Midsummer, like shit like that.
Oh, they're
Get
gonna
Out.
roast. They're gonna roast the X trilogy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, all of that. I mean, they're going to go in on Get Out and like A
Yeah.
Quiet Place movies.
Yeah, Jordan
I
Peele in
need it.
general.
Funny. I need it to be funny, like that. Those what was Disaster movie or like Epic movie where it was just like, look, reference.
Yeah, cheap joke.
That's the Wonka. And it's like, okay, but it's like, what? He's just there. That's not funny.
Like 8 different versions of a Johnny Depp character in the same movie.
Like, and he's a pirate of the Caribbean. It's like, okay,
Wah,
we're at a
wah.
park. Here, he's just standing there. That's not funny.
I gave
Whereas,
movie
like,
43 1 star. So there's that.
they lived on a farm. He was an aspiring rapper. Like, boom, okay, that's 2 wins. That's 2 outs to spoof 2 movies right there. It's like that makes sense. It has to make sense. It can't just be spoofing for spoof's sake. So I'm hoping it's like a haunted house. Those weren't that funny.
Hey, I didn't watch either one of those.
The first one has got that scene where they go up and it's just like Paranormal Activity, like all the furniture is on the floor, on the ceiling. What happened to your furniture, cuz? And then it all just falls like that. That's pretty funny.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I was like,
Dirty, dude.
I was watching Casino Royale yesterday,
Oh my gosh.
and I kind of take a little bit of pride in like freaking Nick out because I'm watching them just because I want to watch them. And we all know what happened to Daniel Craig at the end of No Time to Die, but for a split second, I had Nick thinking new Bond was coming.
I was just like, wait, is this like a director binge that I'm missing out on? Or I'm just like, is Martin Campbell involved in like Wicked?
No, it was a continuation of Robert Zemeckis' ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying, it was Zemeckis. He
Uh,
didn't do this.
but I'm thinking, have we ever like really like clamped down and discussed like reboots?
Probably. I thought
I
it
don't
was
remember.
Zemeckis.
Over like 6 years, you think we maybe tackled it?
Not enough.
If y'all are down, we can do that.
Yeah.
So, let me find my shit. I want to give Batman Begins credit for like starting the big boom of reboots. But there was like The Mummy in '99, Mask of Zorro, like they existed before 2005. Batman
Mask of
Begins is
Zorro
still my
is good.
favorite.
That's a good one. I like that one a lot.
It is
Because I
very
remember
good.
seeing, like, the Disney Channel. I don't know if they still do. I don't know. But, like, they used to, like, it was kind of like Nick at Night. Like, if you watched the Disney Channel long enough, they would start showing really old Disney shit. Like, really old. And first up was usually Zorro.
Ooh.
I remember the intro. Like it was yesterday, but then that was usually like as a kid, it was like, it's time to turn this on. Like, Zorro would come on. And so that was like my only real reference by the time they did the Mask of Zorro. So I can remember being like, oh, Zorro. I know Zorro. And then you watch the movie, and I was like, I didn't know shit about Zorro. This is
Yeah.
holy shit. I was like,
Speaking of Martin Campbell,
oh, yeah, that was him.
he did
And the thing
he did
about
both of them.
Zorro itself, not many people, they probably heard of Zorro, but didn't really know what it was really about until the Mask of Zorro came out.
Was that dude.
Yeah.
Really kind of makes sense to have Anthony Hopkins play Zorro, but we can
I've,
years
al-
later.
I've always wanted some studio, whoever has the rights, to try it again. Nick, your dogs. And I always thought like Oscar Isaac might be a dope Zorro.
I'd be a dope Zorro.
No, ma'am.
Anthony Hopkins is allowed to do it. Why not Nick?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I remember being really excited for like the Legend of Zorro,
Say,
Yeah.
and like, it's fine. I've only watched it maybe like a couple times in my life, where I've watched The Mask of Zorro probably like 10 times.
I thank the Mask of Zorro for introducing us to Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a big deal. That was big for all of us.
Bro, Michael Douglas saw the Mask of Zorro and just turned into Wayne Campbell. She will be mine. Oh yes, she will be mine.
Oh, man.
And she was. Is.
Oh, we all did the swing.
Swing,
Oh,
hell
man.
yeah. It's like some of my favorite.
This is an Academy Award winning actress, okay?
Mhm.
We're just, all right, let us live.
Facts.
It was swing. All right.
Swing.
She was in traffic. She did fine.
Yeah. Let me see. Some of my favorite flat out reboots. Obviously, Batman Begins, Casino Royale, Star Trek '09, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Man of Steel. Those are the bangers. I know you guys like the caliber of like
Yeah.
2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Fantastic Four from 2015, but to each his own.
Yeah, Batman Begins was kind of the. I don't know if they had coined the phrase yet. But was there like a movie or like a moment in time where like the term reboot started being used as opposed to remake?
Jay and Silent Bob.
No. It had to have been. I don't know.
I mean, it was around
Late.
then. 'Cause, I mean, I think a remake is basically not really a scene for scene, but it's a retelling of a story that we're familiar with. A reboot is just taking a familiar character and cooking something semi-original, right?
It did happen like Batman Begins, because then they started doing it. It was like, what if we did Spider-Man again?
Yeah.
It's like, don't even think that. And then they did. So, yeah, I mean, it was probably Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Which, Christ, at that moment in time, what franchise needed a reboot more
Yeah.
than good God?
And I everybody
Facts.
says, The Dark Knight or whatever. Dark Knight, fantastic movie. But I kind of enjoy Batman Begins a little bit more. I'm not saying it's the best of that trilogy. I'm not saying that. I think The Dark Knight is the best movie of that
Right.
trilogy. But I enjoy it because you actually see the true backstory of how he became Batman. That's what made it more interesting to me.
They made it less like insane. Like,
Yes.
where like when you read it, it's just kind of like nuts. Like okay, guy, like go become Batman. But it was like they spent like half the movie like really digging into like him wanting to be like, fuck this. I don't want to live here. I'm gonna go live in Kathmandu or wherever he went. And, like they really, it still doesn't make a lot of sense, and a lot of it is, you know, he's rich, he's able to do this.
Yeah.
But it's just like giving his coat to the homeless guy, like he's just like, I'm out, like I'm done. I'm whatever I'm gonna do. It's not like he's like, that's it, I'm Batman now. Like he's really just, he's walking away. He's like, I'm gonna go train or fight or just be off the grid, get away from this. Halfway through, he's like, this is what I'm gonna do with my life now.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make a lot of sense, but comic book wise, it's like, oh, this is, and now he's Batman.
It's art.
That's fine.
Straight
it's really
art.
good. Yeah, when I watched him 2 years ago, I was like, yeah, okay, we're ranking Batman movies, and I was like, Begins, it's gonna be high, but it's like, you know, and I'm just like, no, Begins is still better than the Batman to me.
Yeah.
Where do you rank the new Batman, the one with Pattinson? Where do you put that up there?
It was high
for Batman movies.
It was like 5. Yeah, I think Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and Mask of the Phantasm.
Nobody talks about that. They don't like that movie's fantastic.
Heavily above it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it's fire in Batman Begins when he's kind of got like the beanie over his face and shit. Yes. They kind of like borrowed from Mask of the Phantasm. That shit was too dope.
Phantasm, where it was like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing.
I have the Batman 5th on my Batman list.
Dark Knight.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and then like the 2 Burton movies.
Yeah,
the
first 2 Nolans, the first 2 Burtons, the Batman.
Yeah. See, yeah, I've got Mask of the Phantasm up there too. So I think I've got.
I have it 6th, and then I have Phantasm 6. I have Lego Batman 7.
Lego Batman's funny.
Lego Batman is fucking amazing.
Burton. How did that? Like, I just brushed right past this. But yes, a reboot. We needed it. And I remember at the time, so we're talking like 20 years on this, but I remember at the time thinking it was like good, like, I was like, if this movie flops or just underperforms, if they decide not to make another one or whatever, the way it ends with the Joker card,
yeah,
I was like, you can just call this a prequel to the Tim Burton movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they'd be like, yeah, it sticks. Which I don't know if that's what they were going for, but I remember at the time thinking, like, this was a different time because I wasn't necessarily like, we need Batman Begins too, like right now. I just remember it ending and being like, wow, that was great. And then the Dark Knight eventually coming out.
He wasn't Joker. When the Keaton movie started, he wasn't Joker. So
Joker, no, he wasn't.
Holes poked all in your argument.
Maybe they overlap. You know, time is fake.
No. Time is just a construct.
How do you want to talk about Joker? That last Joker movie pissed me off.
Hey.
So.
Foley do, Rocket. Foley do.
It was great. It pissed me off.
I'm not calling it great, but I didn't dislike it.
It pissed me off, too. How good it was.
I like I said, I give it a 6 out of 10 for what it was, but like, if you think about it, it just disrupts to me. With the flow of the first one was the first one, fantastic. But now thinking back how it connects to the first one, it doesn't ruin it, but like now knowing
it's the consequences of his actions.
The Joker, I'm like, whatever.
He was too. It's just not all he was. And we didn't care. People didn't care. We just wanted him to dance because he's the clown. And he said, no, I'm more than just this clown. And we couldn't handle it.
Are Arthur and Joker two different personalities?
They couldn't handle it.
Well, yeah.
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, people talk about, oh, this movie wasted Lady Gaga. What are we talking about?
Not really.
Like, they keep sharing scenes, and she's like sitting there at the piano singing, and he's tap dancing. they're like, this movie wasted Lady Gaga. And I'm like, are we watching two like completely different things? Like, what are we saying?
Bro,
I don't know. I'm not saying
normies set up these expectations in their head that they wanted the same movie that they got 5 years ago, just with Lady Gaga riding shotgun. And when it wasn't what the expectations were, it's automatically bad. Nah, bro, like in a grounded world, because Christopher Nolan set it up where realism has to be a thing in comic book movies, for better or worse. When you do what you do on live TV, when you put Robert De Niro's thoughts on the wall, you get arrested, you get taken to the shower room, you get assaulted, you go to trial, you represent yourself, because that's what...
I don't care what anyone says. I was laughing.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like how people felt watching the first one, because I didn't. I remember seeing the first one and being like, that was good. I saw that and I was like, I feel like I relate to what they're going for with this. First one, I was kind of like, this is good, but it's also just kind of Taxi Driver, whatever that is. It's
a movie called Taxi Driver.
It's not that it was the same, but I was like, we've gotten this message, it's the king of comedy with Fight Club.
Yeah.
I was like, we've gotten this message before. This is just kind of like the new generation.
Yep.
The fun thing is like I was telling Randy too, before the first one, before Folly of Duke came out, Todd Phillips already told us, technically, if you paid attention in the first Joker movie, that truly he's not the Joker. Because remember, when he goes to the Wayne estate, Bruce is only a little kid, so you can't say that this is the Joker that Bruce is going to end up fighting.
Yeah.
Because age-wise, by the time he does, this guy's going to be like almost 60, 70 years old. But I told Randy, I'm like,
that's a fact.
Maybe he, this happens where there's somebody who picks up that mantle and becomes or imitates the Joker and becomes the Joker 2.0, because once one person dies, you want to imitate, copycat, and all that. So he passes away or he grabs the mantle. Now that's the Joker who fights Bruce Wayne, down the line when he becomes Batman. And I told this to Randy like pre the movie coming out, and I think it could have just been executed slightly better, or the message could have been a little bit better. Look, Todd Phillips, he got nominated for an Oscar, so he knows what the hell he's doing.
Not this year.
But at the end of the day, I just think the execution could have been a little bit better on that part, not just because you knew in that second one they kept on showing that guy in the background. You knew he was going to play a part in the story somehow, some way.
I gotta make it without the hood someday.
How?
But if you watch 35-year-old movie, spoiler, the first Burton Batman, it's implied very heavily that the Joker is responsible for killing Bruce Wayne's parents.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's like a grown man and a little child, and that worked out fine. I would have been fine with...
I think Jack Napier was supposed to... This dude looked a good 35 years old, but he was supposed to be a teenager. Come on, Jack, let's go. I was a kid when I killed your parents.
But like...
you gotta say you made me. How childish.
Yeah. Like, say, Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Let's say he's 30.
Oh, yeah.
35. Let's say he's in there. If I believe it, he's a bum.
That's a rough 35.
Yeah, but let's say he's 30, 35. I'm like, okay, it's 20 years ish, 12 years he's got, or 25 years maybe he's got. That's fine. To me, that was one of the most intriguing things. Even if I was I know they're never gonna pay off on this, but I was the fact that this guy becomes such a menace that he has to fight Batman. I was like, that's fun. Even if they don't do it, in my head, I was like, that's really cool. That's making this all kind of worth it. But I was like, if they're not going to do that, then we need to dig into what the appeal of the first one was. And that's what the second one did to me. And, like, people hated it.
Yeah.
No, you gotta, it's like, it's making you question, like, what was it about the first one that was appealing to you? Why were you rooting for the Joker? This isn't like, this is just falling down with Michael Douglas. It's just like, no, why were you rooting for him? He's not an anti-hero. He's not supposed to be the good guy. What are you doing? And there's people that just don't have the meaning that are like, they're just like, oh, he's my favorite anti-hero. It's like, nope, try again. Absolutely, no. He was, like, literally like a terrorist. But anyway,
I think
Joker a reboot?
not at all. Well, way to go, Rocket.
Not really.
I like the first movie better. I thought Joaquin was better in the second one.
And, like, when the fourth season comes around, Folie à Deux is going to get nominated for nothing.
No.
And I'm going to be like, how do you justify that when all the technical aspects of it were as good or better?
I agree.
Agreed.
Performance is as good or better.
Agreed.
Lady Gaga, phenomenal in it. I was like, they won't get nominated for anything.
Agreed.
I think Phoenix will get nominated
for Golden
maybe
Globe.
Best Actor. I mean, I agree. I think the first Joker movie was better, but the acting, there was no. I think he was better in this movie than he was in the first one.
You will get nothing. It will be like on Stranger Tides. It was like, hey, how do you not nominate him all 5 times he plays Jack Sparrow?
For doing the same shit.
You nominated him first time. But anyway.
Reboots.
But anyway.
I'm looking at Spider-Man Homecoming, the 16 Ghostbusters, 09 Sherlock Holmes, Wolfman from 2010. The Amazing Spider-Man. It's a solid reboot.
Yeah.
We got a reboot coming up here soon. So
For what?
Superman.
Oh,
Superman.
Yeah.
God save us all.
I'll tell you this right now.
It's my most anticipated movie next year.
Trust James Gunn, see what happens. But if this one doesn't do well, and I mean the movie, how many times have we seen movies that are really good or solid, just people don't come out to see them? And I feel like, so I feel like
the trailers have to crush.
That's the key. And, people love Henry Cavill as a character. I get it. Time has gone by, though, now. Let's see what happens.
They are not proving their love. We love Henry Cavill. And it's like, I'm not...
I agree. I agree with you.
I don't believe you.
If you love an actor, that's great. But then you got to show what you're wallet. When it comes to movies, and they didn't do that. But yet people are clamoring for Henry Cavill. I love Henry Cavill, Superman. I was disappointed they didn't bring him back. But I will say this. I could see certain people not going to the movie for this one, whether good, bad, or indifferent, kind of like a protest. But still, I think if this movie does not do well, that James Gunn universe, no matter how good he is, look what he gave us with Guardians and all that, it's going to be tough to get this universe rolling.
I think far and away, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Flash, Blue Beetle, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom all crashed and burned because of James Gunn taking over his announcement, irrevocably telling everybody those movies have no payoff. Do we think that the Joker box office is connected to that?
No. I don't. I think they greenlit a Joker 2 at an insane budget without really thinking, like, do we need that? And this is, again, coming from somebody who thought the movie was great.
Yeah.
Did we need it? Not necessarily. Was the success of the first Jokers, was it the response to that? Like, we got to make another one. It's like, I don't think we do.
Oh, but
Maybe
Warner
the-
Brothers was like, "Oh yeah, for sure, let's go.
Yeah.
Another cool billion."
The tracking and all of that before it even came out, they were like, "Wait, I don't think people give a shit. I don't think people actually care."
So like,
I mean, if you,
Gaga, but yeah, but like, how many Harley Quinns have we had? Like in 2016, they were like, Harley Quinn being in a movie, that's insane.
yeah,
And you know, how many movies has she been in? How many? We got the TV show. They made the animated movie. She's, I think, a part of some like the little kids, like the DC Supergirls or whatever. It's like she's everywhere now. So
not no.
it's like, you know, it's not that as unique a thing as it would have been, even though it's like Lady Gaga, holy shit. But it's like, nah, we've seen everything.
Yeah,
and the thing is this, like, you know, the Joker movie, it's an Elseworld thing, like this new Matt
Yeah.
Reeves universe. That's an Elseworld thing. Yes, James Gunn, his attachment to it is that he's the head of DC now, and he greenlit it. That's it. That's it. That's his attachment. This other universe, what he's doing, that's all him. This is now his thing. But I agree with what Randy said. You know, I'm not saying those movies were going to be Shazam. You know, Fear of the God
no,
wasn't going to make $1 billion. We already knew that. But you just sabotage those other movies, because why am I going to go see a movie? Like, we're going to go see it regardless. You know, just for the entertainment and fun value, because we enjoyed the first
True.
Shazam and all that. But just taking that movie as an example, you just sabotage it, saying, more than likely, this is the last time you're ever going to see this character.
Yeah.
Ever. You know, Wonder Woman, last time you're ever going to see this character ever. You know, he should have waited until that
Yeah.
run of movies came out and then
yeah,
named this plan. Just be like, I'm running DC, and we're in the works behind the scenes. And still do what you got to do. Let these movies come out, make their run in the theater, make their money. And at the end of the day, whether it's more or less, now you make the announcement. Rather than making the announcement, and these movies were Dead Man Walking. Like,
yeah,
why am I going to, like, a lot of people probably, like, if they love Zachary Levi, you know, some people are going to go support him for the movie, but some people are like, why am I going to invest in this character when they're not doing nothing with it? You know, so at the end of the day, I think by him making that announcement, like Randy said, kind of hurt the remaining movies.
Well, like for them to like the budget on these, but that's what got me. It's like I kind of understand maybe like letting go and just being like, all right, but it's like, you know, what was the budget on Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom?
$1 billion.
Probably like 200 million, something like that. And it's like, man, if you're spending that kind of money, just market your movie like, you know, like, dude, I feel like they kind of tried with The Flash because it was so many years in the making, and like, what was it was like 350 million or some shit, and it was just like, oh god, this got out of control. I feel like they kind of tried to make an event out of Flash, and it just didn't happen.
But you also got to remember, I think they announced the Flash movie midway through season 1 of the Flash show.
Yeah.
And we had a whole series before that show ended and before the Flash movie didn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild.
It's just, yeah, it was even, you know, it was a pretty mixed bag of movies. Like, it was still like not really fair. It was just like, man, you're just putting out Shazam in like, what was that, March, April?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And they were
March.
just like, yeah, whatever. He's not going to fight Black Adam. And it was just like, that's your marketing pitch? That
Yeah.
sucks. And it was like, the movie to me was fine. I remember being like, wait, this is good. This is fine.
You know,
Flash,
And-
whatever. Blue Beetle was whatever. Aquaman was whatever. But it was like you deserve to market the movies and put them out for
I agree.
you know. Then like that universe has already kind of gotten soft rebooted once. People don't talk about it like it has, but I'm like, no, like the tone of the first few movies, once Justice League finally came out and was what it was, they soft rebooted the whole thing. It was like you had Shazam, Aquaman,
Yeah,
1984, and I was like, all these movies are very different tone. It was like a soft reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Of it was really connected outside of them just like saying the occasional thing. So it's like we're rebooting it again.
And then also with, you know,
It,
Blue Beetle. I thought it was fun and entertaining. It was a fun movie. Nothing great, just fun.
Yeah.
But also by saying that this is not kicking off our universe, but this character is going to be on our universe. Like that, it's either it's in or it's not.
Yeah, it's just like, no, Peacemaker's in. It's like, really? So
Yeah.
Robbie's in? It's like, maybe. That's okay. So Jared Leto's in? They're like, no.
And
it's like,
that's the thing is either you do a full reboot with new actors doing these characters, or you don't do it at all. Not this half-ass. Yes, but this character is back, but not this. But like that makes, it just doesn't make any sense.
Viola Davis, she's it.
Yep,
Like,
she's back.
So Ben Affleck is her Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. It's like, no. You already said
Mm-hmm.
that Jared Leto is the Joker in this universe. So, well,
I do feel though, Henry Cavill, if this universe ever takes off, I think he will be back in that universe as the version of like the Superman of Kingdom Come.
man.
I think that's who he's gonna be.
But aren't we like over it? I feel
Yeah, fuck it.
over like the multiverse. I feel like even like the MCU, like they're talking about like the TVA and all this stuff, and I feel like people are like, I'm done. Loki sitting there, we're good. Like I'm done. I'm done with the TVA. Like okay, we got Deadpool. Like that was fun. We don't need to keep doing it, do we? It's like,
And that's the thing though too.
Yeah.
Like you're right, Nick. Because also, where do these like let's say, where do these movies fall and shows fall in the timeline? Because remember, we all agree Black Widow should have been done 10 years prior or way earlier than when it dropped.
I ain't never agreed
But
to
now
that.
in the timeline, it was like movie number 28 on that franchise series, but actually it's actually movie number 25 in the timeline. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's where does this all fit in?
yeah. It's like, did Suicide Squad happen?
No.
Did that happen? Did the events of that film happen?
No.
When I'm Superman Legacy or whatever it's called, Superman.
It's just called Superman.
Yeah.
But coming
It's
all
like,
the way
it's like
back
the Saw
around.
franchise. It's like the Saw franchise. Saw 68 is number 68, but it's technically number 1 in the series. So
No, ma'am.
like, that makes no sense. So.
No.
That man, 80,
I don't
80 being 60.
I don't particularly think like half of the population of society and normies and all this are like so loyal to Henry Cavill that they're gonna really like affect the Superman box office. But I am kind of like scared that it's gonna underperform.
Normies do not understand. Like,
Oh, they're just another Superman already.
yeah, I gotta see movies with my dad all the time. He's not completely ignorant of like the current movie landscape. He can't be. I'm his son.
Yeah.
But he is just like, when I show him like the Superman trailer, it's gonna be like, well, what happened to Cavill? I'm gonna be like, well, Dad.
Now
Like,
he's the
it's
Cavill Green.
And yeah, and I feel like that thing. It's like Margot Robbie has been Harley Quinn in what 3 movies,
Yes.
and I think it feels like she's been Harley Quinn in way more movies. I feel it's like I said, it's like Lady Gaga playing Harley Quinn is just. I think they're like, yes, get ready for Gaga, and it's like, well, yeah, Harley Quinn is fucking everywhere, and it's
Yeah.
like maybe she is, maybe she isn't, but I feel like it's like to the average person, it's just like this bitch is everywhere, and it's like no, the Suicide Squad was really popular, and so it feels like she was everywhere. So I'm curious to be like to see. It's like a new Superman again. It's here we go again. Like, are people going to be like?
Who left the
Yeah.
fridge open?
I have no doubt that it's going to be a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had most Superman movies over the last few decades.
From 87 to 06, we couldn't get Superman off the ground, and now 2 new Supermans in 12 years.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, they kind of fumbled the ball.
Oh yeah.
I think he will be a little more loyal to the bright and chipper Christopher Reeve-esque Superman, so maybe that could be a good thing, because that was a lot of normie complaints about Cavill.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't anything Cavill was doing.
Or Snyder.
he wasn't doing anything wrong.
No, he's
yeah,
my
the
favorite
whole thing-
Superman.
even if, like meet Lois and like know Lois before he worked there and all this stuff. You know, it's all controversial choices. It was good.
Welcome to the planet.
Was it good though? It
Yes.
was good.
Man of Steel is what
You know-
I consider the best Superman movie ever. One of my favorite reboots.
I
Period.
mean, hard false, hard false. But I've grown to like Man of
You're
Steel more
flaccid.
over the years. I didn't lose my mind over it when it first came out. I think I had like Dark Knight level expectations for Man of Steel.
Oh well, you played
I just
yourself.
remember being like, this to be it. And then I watched it and I was like, that was fine. And then over the years, I'm kind of like, yeah, there's good things here.
Remember the good old days
good
when
things.
Warner Brothers used to drop teaser trailers a literal year in advance? I feel like
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises had the Man of Steel teaser, and I was hype
Yeah.
for that whole year.
Yeah, it had it like standing there with the cape, and I was like, this is going to fuck harder
Hard.
than any movie fucked. And then I just remember seeing it and being like, yeah, it was good. I like the cast. But over time, on rewatches, I'm like, this lays that and Batman versus Superman, which I thought was really good.
Yes.
Even at the time, like even when it came out, like I was like, this rocks, right, everybody? And everybody was kind of like, eh. And I was like, what? But since that came out, I think like watching them together, I'm like, oh wait, no, this is great. This is setting up greatness. And then now, having seen the Snyder Cut, knowing what like he was cooking, like wait, no, this would have ruled harder than anything, and it would have aged really well.
Agreed.
But whatever.
So
Like I'm not going to see this new Superman, and I'm not just going to be like, this better be as good as the Snyderverse. Like I don't
No.
have that. I'm
No.
sorry. I just don't have that kind of like loyalty or whatever. I'm just like, I need this
Technically-
to be good. And if we're going to commit to the universe again, it's like I need it to be a good launch pad.
before
Whatever
I
the fuck.
speaking of launch pads, before I go on break, for those out of the loop, technically, James Gunn universe starts in December on Max with the animated Creature Commandos.
No.
Yes, it does.
But
So-
does it? You got
Yes.
Peacemaker. It's like, is Peacemaker a part of it? Besides
The,
launch.
they'll
And then
retcon
Blue
it.
Beetle, he's going to be a part of it? Okay, so it's like, did it start there? I think we're already confused.
I don't think we're gonna get like 20 minutes of movie talking about, hey, well, the events of the Flash are why Amanda Waller and Peacemaker and these characters, Blue Beetle, are with us, but now Batman's played by Glenn
Now
Powell.
Batman- Like, oh, Batman's played by George Clooney? He's George Clooney now?
That's true. But
It's like, fuck,
before we get on a 15-minute tangent, pee break. All right, looking at my list, for whatever reason, let's keep it Warner Brothers. What I feel like is an underrated reboot, 2014's Godzilla.
Good one.
Great one.
Successful reboot. It's
Mhm.
fun. I don't think it gets enough credit for it in the age of like these universes. Like all these superhero ones, they're kind of like teetering, and then like Warner Brothers just has Godzilla and The Conjuring. Like they're just like, oh, we're still coasting. We're good. Here's Godzilla 8.
Yeah.
But
But
I mean,
for that
shit,
universe,
it's
though,
spun off of that, the monster universe in a sense.
I want new monsters. Godzilla and Kong
This is
are,
true.
are very cool and both iconic. Give us new monsters. Don't
That's
give
it.
us 3
Yeah,
Godzilla
like-
versus Kongs in a row. Like, put a movie or 4 in between and build up to the next fight.
Who? That's the only thing. It's like
I don't
Mothra.
know.
It's like you ask them, you know Mothra? And they're like, yeah. But it's like a Mothra movie? What would that even be? Like
Yeah.
That's true.
a bug? It's like, that's why they keep doing it. It's like individually, it was like King of the Monsters kind of underperformed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Put together, and it was like that even did well like during the pandemic. It was like, okay, the people know what they want.
Godzilla versus Kong was ass.
It
Godzilla
was fine.
and Skull Island.
I thought they were
I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
but I do agree, Randy. It's like you had Godzilla.
Skull Island is another
Kong
one.
Skull Island. Okay, great. Not you know what's coming. You
Both
know what's
bangers.
coming. Then you had Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's at the end of the day, it's at least Godzilla had its own and King of the Monsters, like two separate movies of Godzilla focused. Where Kong
Yeah.
only had Kong Skull Island. His other movies that he's been in has been with Godzilla.
Yeah.
So
Give us another Kong solo.
Yeah.
I want to see this Kong do like the King Kong. Like I want to see him climb the Empire State
Yeah.
Building.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
But like he would have to get shot and killed. It's like, is that the
Oh,
same?
that's a
We don't
fact.
need that. But it's really like who else? Like they put all the like King of the Monsters. Like they put Rodan and King Ghidorah in there, and it was like, oh, this is cool. But it's kind of like, what would we do with like a solo movie about these people?
Bring in
But
some
also,
weird
if you
shit from
think about it,
space.
If you think about it, King Kong actually in the reboot, the first reboot, never died. In the 1976 one with
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, King Kong, same thing happens, he falls. But then it's called King Kong Lives with Linda Hamilton. They took his ass to like some hospital place or underground sector or whatever and brought his ass back. So I mean,
Maybe that's what happened here.
yeah.
Melvin Smiley never returned his copy of King Kong Lives.
Who are the like connecting fibers of this movie? Is it what's his name? Joe Morton? Wasn't he like in Kong Skull Island? It was the Dr. Dre dude.
Hawkins. Corey
And then
Hawkins.
Wasn't it supposed to be like Joe Morton was him as an adult?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch the Monarch show? There's younger versions of characters in the movies and that too.
Yep. That's
So,
a great show.
I've
Solid
watched
show.
probably more than half of it. And it was really good. For whatever reason, I think I got to a point where I was waiting for the next episode and just forgot. So that's not good. That's a bad sign. But I remember watching it and
Facts.
thinking it was really good. So,
I'll
Yeah,
squeeze
solid.
it in
I think the
before
second
season
season should
2.
be coming out shortly. So.
Yeah.
yeah, I'll rewatch.
Which
Because I remember thinking, this rocks.
is it like a legendary thing? Like, why is it on Apple and not Max?
I don't know. I also thought that was weird. But I remember liking it. I remember being like, it fits in this world. And then the New Empire was lots of fun. I thought it was really entertaining. For a lot of, CGI bullshit. But, like, again, it's like that level of cynicism that, like, if you can just leave that at the door and realize that you were watching Godzilla and King Kong fight another monster, it's like, if you can just prepare
Facts.
yourself for it, not think about what the budget was or that it's CGI slop. It's like, we know it's CGI slop. None of this exists. Of course it's CGI slop.
Yeah.
Watch it. And I feel like that was like a good example of, oh, this actually rocks. This is actually hilarious.
Because I didn't like Godzilla vs. Kong. My expectations for the New Empire were damn near non-existent. So yeah, I thought it was crazy fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was wicked
And, like,
fun.
14 Godzilla is good. You could argue that it's like the best of the bunch. I kind of
It
feel
is.
like Skull Island has the better balance of like human characters that are actually kind of interesting, but also making it really fun and like
Yeah.
balls to like creature feature. Whereas like Godzilla was like, we need to put Bryan Cranston giving like an Oscar-worthy performance for no reason. It's like, it's not going to lead to anything, but it's like we're going to have all these human characters that aren't actually that interesting. But then by the time Godzilla shows up, it's like, whoa. So, effective, good. Another one that has aged well,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I'm like, oh, in rewatches, it's better than it was 10 years ago.
So if we're
Yes.
talking about Godzilla like reboots or that, would we consider Godzilla -1 a reboot? Because to me, if
I
we
don't
do,
know.
that's got to be, in my opinion, one of the probably the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen.
It's one of the best
I'll
I've
own
seen.
it on-
I haven't,
I'll own it on Tuesday. I don't know.
but
You never seen it, Randy?
No, bro. I don't know if I told y'all the game. in like what was it, beginning of February, early January when it expanded, the black and white version came to theaters.
Mhm.
It actually came to my theater, but my alternator in my car shit the bed, and it was literally the only
Oh.
day I could watch it. So I just took the L.
Yeah.
No, bro, it's
I mean,
phenomenal.
Yeah, I've never heard
it's
anybody
phenomenal.
say Godzilla -1 isn't good. So Amazon should be packing it up for me as we speak.
Yeah, I'm hoping mine is on the way. I got it through Groove. I wanted to get the Steelbook, but I just got the
I bet you
4K
did.
slip. But it's
Like
on the way.
box set like a month ago because I
Yeah,
that was like the only way it was gonna come out, and I was like, you know what, this is beautiful. I'll pay $60 for this.
but you know
Doll
what though?
hairs.
I'm like you, Nick. If it's a nice box set and it looks gorgeous,
It's really nice.
I'm getting it.
I mean, had I known that it was getting like a 4K,
Like that
just like a
Seinfeld.
Yeah,
it, but I mean, it's a pretty nice box set. It's pretty nice, pretty fancy.
So,
I should have laid
What about a
1997 Godzilla.
98? But go off.
Yay, 1997. Why do I always think it's 97? 98. Is that a reboot? Is that the best reboot of all time?
It's
fucking
not.
It's yeah, it was a reboot at the time. Back in the 90s, they started doing that. They were doing that with a lot of like old proproperties.
yeah, they did.
I guess
That's
I
why I
need to
always
add
say
that to my
like
list.
if we treated that like it was like a reboot of like the TV show, then Batman and Robin is kind of great. Like when you look at it that way, it's like they were doing that with what they did with like Wild Wild West and like Lost Space, and they were just like, and Batman and Robin is like a remake of the TV show. It's like, oh, that's why it's goofy. Oh, this is great.
I
But
have
if it's
heard
you-
more times than not that that's what Schumacher was shooting for, that really campy vibe.
Yeah, it's like if you look at it as a sequel to Batman Return, you're like, oh shit, this sucks. But it's like, no, this is we're redoing, we're mavericking, we're Mission Impossible thing Batman the series, and it's like, okay, fun. I see you.
You're not taking me to the cooler.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they would have said that. They would have said that on the show.
Yeah.
They
Ice
would have
to
said
meet
that.
you.
Adam West would have had a credit card. That's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny, actually.
So, a reboot
But-
that is about. What's up, Nick?
But yeah, Godzilla 98 is superior to all.
False.
Oh,
A 14-year-old reboot before it gets another reboot in January. How do we feel about the Wolfman?
I remember liking it. I don't watch it that often, if I'm being honest. This watch in January is probably my first time I've watched it. 10 years? It's gonna be a while.
It's solid.
Cool. Good acting, like good actor choices.
Yeah.
Like, oh, good cast.
Anthony Hopkins again.
Yeah. And one of like Rick Baker makeup effects. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
Sounds right.
Benicio del Toro kind of looks like a Wolfman.
Oh, yeah.
He just has that look. And like this new one, which I'm looking forward to. I'm like, I want this to be good, but I feel like it's gonna be a lot of CGI, whether we like it or not. It's like by the time he
Yeah,
wolf, it's gonna be a lot of.
How else does one human being turn into a werewolf, Nick? Computers.
Watch American Werewolf in London, and they slowly. That's still great. It's like, yeah, that's great. Like watch Michael Jackson do it in the Thriller.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
That shit's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll probably watch the Wolfman prior to this new one coming out. So I haven't seen that one in shit. It's been a while.
Minute. It's like they keep trying to reboots. Like they keep trying to like the classic monsters.
I'm telling you, like, Universal figured it out. When the Mummy in 17 crashed and burned, they just started making movies that aren't interconnected. And
Crashed and burned.
yeah, so like segue, Invisible Man, phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
Like great.
Yes, it was. Is Blumhouse doing this one too?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
All I know is Shorty from Ozark is in it.
And she's supposed to be like someone's mom. I'm sure she's like 30, but like she looks too young to be like.
Julia
I don't know.
Garner.
I could be wrong. I'm sure she's like 30 something. She just has one of those faces. She looks like a baby.
Always young.
Yeah. Some girl's like, "Mommy," and she's like, "I know." I'm like,
God, find Wolfman.
but I'm looking for it. I mean, again though, like, why did it?
Yeah,
January-
Blumhouse. Yeah. Lee Winnell directed.
Come on, it would have made money in October.
I agree.
I don't really know a lot of what Christopher Abbott has done. I've seen his name on occasion, but I feel like this would have like really crushed if Gosling would have stayed attached.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's in a movie called Possessor. That movie was crazy.
He was also in Poor Things. It Comes at Night.
That's why I recognize him.
Yeah, he came in that last like maybe 20 minutes of Poor Things. And I ate him.
He's in Craven, Poor Things. I see Possessor, First Man with Gosling. It comes at, he was the guy in It Comes at Night, the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was it.
He was it.
He came at night. It was
Pause.
like, oh, that's fucking. But yeah, they keep. I mean, the Dark Universe. I get it. Like, you know, in the age of like everything has to be a shared universe, I was like, this is fun. Like, we get
IP.
Dracula. I mean, they did that back in like 30s. Like, it was like that was a shared universe.
That was the original interconnected
But-
shared universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
like the 40s, 50s, or whatever, and it was like they really started committing to it. I was like, yeah, Peter Cushing was Van Helsing, and he would show up in like all the different movies. And then you had like Abbott and Costello like met all of the monsters, and it was like the Avengers. It was like all of the. It's like, wait, holy shit, this is cool. And at the time, I'm sure they weren't really thinking, holy shit, this is cool.
Yeah.
You know, it made sense that they would want to try to do it again. And I guess they've just abandoned ship. But they keep putting out individual movies, like you said. Like, I thought Renfield was good. I thought
Abigail.
Abigail was good. The Last Voyage of the Demeter, I thought was underrated. Like, people didn't really talk about it, but it's slowly, now when I see people talking about it, they're like, no, wait, that movie rocked.
I agree. It was pretty good.
It was
I
good.
Was
I
that
thought it was
Universal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dracula boat.
I remember when I first watched it the first time, I was...
Damn, I guess I gotta
it
go
was
get that.
A solid movie.
Yeah.
Then when I rewatched it, I enjoyed it more the second time watching it.
Survival thriller, kind of, because like you kind of gave a shit about the characters enough that like they were dying. It was like, wait, this is sad. Actually, this is fun, and it's not like he's some demon monster horrible.
Yeah.
It is, but it's Dracula on a boat. It's Dracula boat.
Yeah, man, you can't go anywhere. You're on the boat.
Damn.
Dracula boat.
I completely overlooked that was Universal. I guess I gotta go buy that now.
That was good. It was
Shit.
good.
Get the 4K rating.
Get the
Oh yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah, Shot's got the 4K. It pisses me the fuck off. Like, why do they keep doing that?
Yeah, that's. I just buy the Blu-ray and fuck it. If they come out with like Megan, I got it on Blu-ray. They drop the 4K. It's annoying, but it's like, wow, I gotta wait another full year to get this movie. I'm good.
Yeah.
Resident Evil is on the way. I've got it coming to me,
Ooh.
and I know in my soul they are about to do the same thing with Speak No Evil. 100%. It is going to get a 4K either from Universal later or from Shout Factory later. It's like they didn't even with the holdovers. They're doing it with everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, why aren't you putting these out?
I got a reboot for Nick right quick. Mixed bag reboot. Kinda interested. I'm sure we've talked about it, especially when it came out. Charlie's Angels.
Not bad. It's about as good as the other two movies, whether people want to admit it or not.
I'd say it's better.
There's just an iconicism to, you know, Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu. There's
Agreed.
there's an iconicism there. Like 25 years later, it's like those were angels.
Yes. But the McG movies are both ass.
They're fine. They're fine.
Fine
Talk about
ass.
We're giving all-timer performances.
Yeah, I mean,
Like what?
when these movies came out, it wasn't for the acting.
Yeah,
True indeed.
like self-awareness to it that I think makes it good. It's kind of similar to like Legally Blonde. Like you watch Legally Blonde and it's like it's pretty good. It's funny, but it's like what says like there's a self-awareness to it that it's like this is very campy, very intentionally tongue-in-cheek, and it makes it work. Charlie's Angels fits in that conversation of like where they were like rebooting old properties, where it was like we have to do something new with it, make it kind of stylish, but you also have to kind of commit to the campiness of the original property. I think Charlie's Angels is successful. 2019 kind of did the same thing. It just, I think it kind of rang in as unnecessary overall, which is sad because I remember thinking it was fine. Kristen Stewart awoke things within me in that movie that I saw had long been dormant.
I think you were lusting after her before that, but go off.
Truly I was, but it was like, what is this?
And we need to acknowledge that one of the horror queens of 2024 is in this movie.
It's true. It's true. And had she just come off of Aladdin?
Same year.
Yeah, like Aladdin had just passed, so it was kind of like she's the next big thing. And then the other girl, I've only seen, she's probably done other stuff. She was on the, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think I am, she was on that Resident Evil show like 2 years ago.
Which one, the Raccoon City, the Welcome to Raccoon City?
No, the Netflix show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Confirmed.
No offense. No offense to Lance Reddick, who was good on the show.
Confirmed. Yeah, I saw everybody say that it was mid to not good at all, so I didn't even give it a chance. Let me see. Do we consider Dredd a reboot? It's not.
It was an attempted reboot,
right?
Yeah,
that was normies failed us.
I remember watching Dredd a few times when it came out, and I just haven't watched it. But in my head, it's
Dredd is really dope.
Wait, this fucks. This is great. And it came out, here's the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah,
it was like the year of reboot.
17's Power Rangers.
An attempted reboot. Good. Also, Naomi Scott.
Also with Naomi Scott, and it's got a Green Lantern level mid post credit scene that will never get paid off.
Yeah, I remember thinking, and to this day, like I mean, they're not going to do it now, but dude who played Robbie on Cobra Kai, I remember watching Cobra Kai. He had like the kind of long like hair, and I remember being like, dude, that's Tommy. That's it. Like, make the Green Ranger. That's him right there. Kind of like a dick on Cobra Kai when it started. Like, that's him. I was like, that's him. We found him. We found the guy.
Johnny's son, right?
Movie. Yeah.
In Cobra Kai, he has the Tommy Oliver arc.
Yeah.
Beat for beat.
Dating like the cute girl, and I was like, that's him. We found him. Just put him in the movie. That's him. And they didn't listen to me.
See.
But I was like, you got him on a Netflix show. You got, dude, Red Ranger was on Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, all these people are more famous now. Naomi Scott is in Aladdin. All these people are more famous now. Just do a Power Rangers 2. Just fuck them. Just do a second one, see if it makes any money. They won't.
No.
I'm thinking it was.
I enjoyed the first one. The only one. So yeah.
It was like a superhero movie, but
see, I'm gonna throw out
better than I thought.
I'm gonna throw out 2 reboots that may or may not be ass. These might be near and dear to your hearts. The Crow and The Strangers Chapter 1. Rocket, don't hurt me.
Oh, The Crow. They're not rebooting shit with The Crow.
Dookie.
No, that's terrible.
Rebooting anything, it's done. But I didn't hate it.
Lionsgate love doing reboots. They taking L's on.
If it was part of the Crow franchise in the sense of like it was another Crow movie, separate, I think it would have. I'm not saying it would have done okay, but I think it would have been better than trying to remake the Crow, because it's funny because they use the same the two main characters, Eric and Shelley, they go by their first name. They never say the last name.
Yeah.
So, that's odd. But yet, when I read the graphic novel, the book by James O'Barr, the only thing that resembles the movie and the book is that opening scene with the white horse. Besides that, ain't nothing else.
And that didn't mean anything in the movie. Like,
I'm like, what?
Just like Halloween 2.
Didn't Halloween 2 was good.
False. All kinds of
Crow was
false.
good. All these movies are good.
All kinds of false.
The Strangers Chapter 1 was not good. But I'm lying through my teeth.
Chapter 2 is coming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Chapter 2 is coming. I'm like, well, I gotta see what they do. Fuck. Let me see what they do. God damn it.
It's the Strangers Chapter 1 is a reboot, but it feels like a remake. And Chapter 2 and 3, Rennie Harlan basically had carte blanche to go wherever he wanted, which is interesting, even if it might be ass.
Yeah, he had Cate Blanchett to do whatever he wanted.
That's right.
And he gave the most ho-hum ass movie. Everything about it was just so by the book. Like, go to the small town and so we think we took a wrong turn and oh, here's a little diner and everybody in the diner looks at them.
Everybody looks suspect.
And their fucking car is broken down. It's like, well, I can fix that for you, but you're going to have to spend the night. I'm going to have to order the parts. I'm like, this is every movie I have ever seen. This is Wrong Turn. This is every movie I've ever seen. And it's like, it's just...
The first Wrong Turn was good.
First Strangers is good.
Yeah.
See, Second
Strangers is good, in my opinion.
My thing is this, look. Let's take The Strangers and let's take The Purge. Okay? Yeah, Purge 1, and you got the second one, and then like the first Purge, I like what they did with that is how it all began. But the way they made it...
The fourth movie.
Yep, the fourth movie. Yep.
The first
way
Purge.
They made it,
Mm-hmm.
yes. It's like the whole Saw shit thing. But the way they did it worked out really well. Where like The Strangers, the first one's phenomenal. Yes. But now that Strangers Chapter 1, the great thing about The Strangers, it's just a bunch of crazy ass people getting together and doing this. Like, remember the line, why are you doing this? Because you're home.
Because you answered the door.
I don't need to know how you became a group. I don't need to know none of that. That's what makes it group is I don't need to. Sometimes some mysteries are better not told.
Like Michael Myers.
It's just a mystery, and that's what makes it more eerie and creepy, and visceral. Because like that movie, that shit could happen in real life. You know what I mean? So by now, Chapter 1? Now we got a back. I don't need all that.
And it's like, we really don't, if you actually watch it.
You don't.
Like, this is what I assumed.
Even Pray at Night.
I assumed it was some fuckheads who were like, oh, you're in my town. No. And it's like, I assumed that was happening anyway. I don't need the whole, well, I think we got off on the wrong exit. Well, maybe we can ask these nice people for directions. It's like, no, didn't need it, don't care, don't need it. I would hate you too.
Chapter 2 implies that she's in the truck with the killers.
It does, but it's like, there's a part of me that's like, what are they cooking? But it's like, I also am just like, I don't care. Like, are they going to train her to be a stranger? I don't care about that. No, I really don't.
Yeah.
She'll wake up from a nightmare, still in the hospital.
Wakes up and they took her. I don't really care. Like, what are they going to do? We got another chapter coming. Are they going to kill her?
Yeah.
Oh, start with new people? I don't care about that either. I'm just like, everything. I'm just like, I really don't give a shit. But I'll go see it.
And you know what, though? It's also this. If, okay, you want to start a new franchise. The first one does well. Great. We got to make another one.
Let me direct that shit.
I think right then and there is when if you're going to do a prequel, just do the prequel to blend in with that one. Why wait 2 or 3
like
months?
Missing in Action.
Like, it's, you have it where, The first one's great. Second one's good. Third, like it goes on. You're invested. You're already watching the third one. Why? I don't care how they became. Like I don't need that. And by going back to that now, you just basically said story ends here, but we're making a fourth one to show why it started. Like I don't need all that.
It worked for
I don't need
Underworld.
all that. So I don't know, but like the Purge, when they came out with the first Purge, that was more interesting because
The fourth.
The fourth movie.
yeah, I hate you guys.
The first
But
Purge.
yeah, at the end of the day, it's like
Fourth one.
it's
Forever
I guess
Purge.
It explains because we are curious to see what the hell happened to this. At the time, the country, why they do it. That is more interesting to see why the founding fathers and all, like how it all started. Where in Strangers, to me, there was no need for
No,
a
yeah.
a prequel, reboot. Not at all.
You're going to it's akin to like, and people, there's always people on the line who are like, don't you want, and they're always like, what if you had a Darth Vader Disney Plus series? I'm like, we've already had that. Like with these movies already explained.
That was called the prequel
like-
trilogy.
Yeah, but it's like what if you made like a Jigsaw prequel series or something like? It's like we've already explained through the majesty of cinema his
Yeah.
whole.
That's
he
what.
was kind of just a guy, and then he got cancer and had a rough go,
Yeah.
and that's it's been explored extensively in like Saw 4. It's like we did it, so we don't need a prequel
Like
with like
every
we don't need it.
every
They will do
flashback in Saw 4, 5, and 6 explained why he is who he is.
Who he is, and
They will do it.
it's like Star Wars.
And
Han
11
Solo,
might do it
Brandon.
too.
Like the Solo movie for Star Wars, I enjoyed that quite a bit. I really enjoyed it.
Underrated.
But I was a little turned off when he was trying to escape, and they're like, his name was Han. Okay, what's your last name? And the guy comes out Solo. Like I'm like, really? This is how he got his name? Like that? Like that just like put me off for a little bit and took me out of the movie. Like I'm thinking like it's something he came up with, not some.
Was that a Lord Miller idea or was that
Yeah,
Ron
it's
Howard?
just weird. It's like.
They're gonna do the Saw prequel, and he's gonna be watching Seinfeld, and they'll be like, "What's your name?" He'd be like, "John." He's, "What's your last name?" It's like, "I don't know." It's like, "All right, John Kramer." Like they'd be watching, be like, "That's it." Kramer. But it's like some things just like The Purge. First off, all of the sequels to The Purge are better than the original Purge.
Ooh.
Absolutely, I agree.
Ooh.
I agree.
The Purge,
I love being in the
Didn't-
minority.
nah, it didn't live up to like
I'm-
the concept.
I'm putting the
People
original
wanted-
over either the first Purge or the Forever Purge. I don't know which one.
No.
My two favorite purges are the ones with Frank Grillo.
Yeah, Anarchy and
Yeah.
Election Year. That
Yeah,
one.
those are my two favorite.
And
But the fourth
because
movie
they,
called the first Purge, though.
they delved into concepts that like people wanted from the first one. Like they were like, "Oh fuck, a night where anything is legal." And then the first one, you're just in the house with Ethan Hawke, and it's like, well, this isn't fun. But then they listened to people and like, so by the time you get to the first Purge, which was the fourth movie, you are interested in like, what is the reasoning?
Yes.
That Marissa Tomei made all this shit.
And it was like, oh, so they could like marginalize these poor communities and have them go together. Throats, and it makes perfect, beautiful sense.
Also, have you guys watched the TV series? It was only 2 seasons.
I have it. I haven't watched it.
I got the first season. I got to get season 2. I've been saying that forever. But the first season I watched it, I got it. It was pretty good. It's pretty solid because it ties into the story line, but it's like somewhere else happening. Like remember, what we saw is just in these areas. It's somewhere else, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just got to get the second one and then go from there.
Yo.
But again, works with the Purge. The Purge is like a,
Yes.
we are implying that it is this ever expanding thing. Because like the Strangers is not that.
Nah.
The Strangers is this one thing is happening to you. You drew the short straw. This is happening to you tonight. No one else is doing this No one else knows we're doing this.
No.
Is Tamara
You're here.
home?
And it's like they just keep trying to like redo it. It's like we don't need to.
Yeah.
Even Pray at Night, which I think is a solid watch. I think it's a good movie. It's like the vibe is different. It's like a slasher vibe. That's not what the first Strangers
Yeah.
at all. The first Strangers was home invasion.
Yep.
They're in the house. That's what makes it scary.
And Buddy from
Right.
Always Sunny took a shotty to the head.
Yeah.
Let me see. Reboots. Have either one of y'all watched The Crooked Man, the Hellboy, The Crooked Man yet?
No.
No. It doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned until I can like hold it
Next month.
and like really. I think it's available to rent, but
You.
I might maybe I'll just do like a little Hellboy like binge
In December.
again. Why are we retrying like Ron Perlman Hellboys are so good.
Yeah.
I think they third one done.
What I'm
Pissing
talking
me
about,
off.
if you had to watch a Robin Hood reboot right now, Russell Crowe or Taron Egerton, go.
Kevin Costner.
Not a reboot.
Probably Russell Crowe. If for
Yeah.
other reason that I'm rewatching Ridley Scott movies right now.
And not posting
I
it.
like
I kind of like both the Russell Crowe and the one with who was it? Jamie Foxx was in that one too, right?
Taron Egerton, Jamie Foxx, yeah.
I mean, it's okay, but I have not rewatched it since
No, I
the
haven't
theater
either.
Same.
years, so I must not have loved it.
I want like
that
Robin.
movie wouldn't be in theaters now at all.
Nah.
That would straight to Netflix.
It's like
Damn.
the Russell Crowe one. He wasn't really Robin Hood yet, so I really wanted that sequel.
It was like waiting for it. It was like 50.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, you're not Robin Hood. You're already gonna pass the mantle down. You're already too old for this shit. But it was like good. It was like Kate Blanchett and like
Oscar Isaac, yeah.
What the name was Little John? I was like, wait, this is
Yeah.
good. This rules.
What?
It's a yeah, Little John.
Yeah. Okay.
I was waiting for it.
But yeah, in my head, I kind of like that movie.
So have you gotten to it yet?
I'm walking out being like, wait,
So
let's
like,
do another one.
when you do these binges, are you like as OCD as me and watch them in release order?
Usually, like right now, like I'm just doing it in my free time, so I can't really map it out.
So you're barely to
doing-
like 1492.
Yeah, so yeah, I watched that the other day. That's not a great movie.
I've never seen
But
it.
it's like American Gangster is almost like 3 hours long, so I had to
Worth
do
it.
like alert before that. Like I was like, I got to do American Gangster on a night where I can actually sit and watch it. Plus, I've seen American Gangster, I know it's good.
Yes.
So I was like,
Fuck
yeah,
yes.
I've watched the once. I can't even remember what it was about, and it was pretty good.
Which
American
one?
Gangster, great. The Counselor.
Oh
The
yeah.
movie was. I just didn't really remember it.
I remember
It's
it
like
getting bashed. It's solid.
This movie's wild. And like Body of Lies, like I didn't remember that.
You
Like,
gonna
at
get
all.
on
Like, I
Apple
was-
and rewatch Napoleon?
Mm-mm.
No, I don't. You know what? No, I don't think I'm going to, because I don't have a release.
Release the Brian Cox cut,
Yeah,
fucker.
no, I'm not going to watch it. I might, like if I have time, but I've got other stuff I got to do.
I should do that one day just to rewatch like House of Gucci and shit.
Yeah, which I loved. I loved
Yeah.
the last duel. So
Hell yeah.
I'd rather.
Ridley
That's
was
like-
cooking in 21.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Robin Hood. I like Exodus, Gods and Kings. Like I don't know, like whenever he does like a big splashy, I like Kingdom of Heaven.
Epic.
Kingdom of Heaven was good.
Yeah, so I'm just like Gladiator 2 is gonna buck. Like I'm just gonna
I hope
love
so.
it. I'm
I'm-
gonna beat my.
I've accidentally seen a couple of Letterbox ratings and they are on the high side.
in there. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of hyped for Thursday. just to rewatch
Yeah.
the original.
I'm glad we did it, Gladiator. Even though maybe we need it, maybe we don't. I don't know. But I'm glad we're not at a point where we're rebooting Gladiator.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
literally like, if Gladiator came out May 9th of 2000, he's been talking about Gladiator 2 since May 10th of 2000.
Agreed.
So it's
have
like,
I was 10.
I'm just glad that he actually finally did it.
I was like, let's do that again. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of movies, like random like action movies that I feel like they could do sequels to or like reboots. I'm glad they haven't. Like Man on Fire is one. Like they could reboot that in like 5 seconds. They could
That's
do
so
it.
dope.
But I'm
Nah.
like,
Don't
please don't.
don't touch
Make us-
anything Tony Scott did. Let it rest.
Except for Top Gun.
Yeah. Yeah, like they're bubbling up rumors about a Days of Thunder sequel. We don't need it.
No need.
It's true.
So just make a new racing movie.
I
Yeah.
mean, what are they gonna do? Bring back Tom Cruise? He's retiring and
Yeah.
the new up and coming.
I-
Like, that's
It's literally going to be called Days of Thunder Trickle.
Oh, God. I like Days of Thunder. I'm okay
It's fire.
I love Days of
But
Thunder.
like, I don't think it has the legacy
No,
Top Gun has. Like, we don't need to pretend that that's like
No.
no.
of like Blade Runner and like these movies that they reboot. Star Wars. It's like, yeah,
Hey,
Harrison
hey,
back in Star Wars is a big deal.
I'll tell you this right now, though. If they make a Days of Thunder 2, it might make money.
I'll be there.
I mean, after the voting and how the election went, now you got all the
America.
you never know.
I still, even with that, like I think they missed their window. Like you look at like 2006 when you had Cars and Talladega Nights came out within like weeks of each other. Like NASCAR culture
Peak.
was high.
Yeah,
I remember my parents used to watch NASCAR. And like I would watch the movies. Like I knew all the terminology. They'd be like, "Oh, boogity 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 boys," and I'd be like, "He said thing,
you're right.
What?
thing." That means it's start.
As Michael Waltrip.
I guess I'm not that Caucasian.
That means it's time to start. Let's go.
Oh
They were-
man.
I'll take your word for it.
Get yourself a nice team. Donaco boys will take care of you. And I'm like, that's how they talk. That's how the sponsors talk. That's how they talk. I've seen them. And then I think the Final Destination maybe killed NASCAR
Ooh.
culture. Wild.
Literally,
So Days of Thunder,
figuratively.
I don't know. Maybe they're going to wait for that F1 movie with Brad Pitt. To
Ooh.
see,
That
like,
Yeah.
they're-
That should be called. Directed by the guy that directed Top Gun Maverick.
it's like, do we care? Maybe this can put out Days of Thunder.
The best reboot over the last year and a half. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem.
Sure.
would you consider
Yes.
Ocean 8 a soft kind of reboot?
It's not
It's-
kind of a sequel.
It's not, but now that they're like talking about an Ocean's 14, they need to
Yeah.
include characters from Ocean's 8.
I agree. I'm pissed off now because it's like
The
I
way that
have 11, 12, 13, and I got 8, who's technically the fourth movie, but if you like the numbers bother me knowing that 8 is behind 13 when I want 9 and 10, so I can just put them together.
But the first Purge is the fourth movie.
Yeah, it drives me nuts, bro.
do that. I think, because a new Ocean's 11 writes itself. I mean, all those actors
Yes.
are bankable movie stars. I
Yeah.
mean, they're still. You put them all together, it's like that's cool. Plus, the boomer crowd might be more interested in that now,
Yeah.
which good. That's hard to do. And I'm like, you did it with Ocean's 8 was like pretty successful.
Yeah, it was.
I don't understand
you
why we
put,
didn't
like,
get 9 within like 3 years.
I agree.
I was like, Kate Blanchett, Sandra Bullock, Rihanna, Anne Hathaway. You
Mindy
put them
Kaling.
in with guys, and it's like maybe cut out. You don't necessarily need like Casey Affleck or Scott Conn,
Well, the
Maybe
thing is, if you,
those guys. But it's like you put
Why not?
the big guys in with the big girls, and it's like, holy fuck, this is like Justice League.
I mean, check it out though.
Big
Yeah,
girl.
you had the 13, right? Remember, 2 of them passed away. You got Bernie's gone.
Carl Reiner.
Carl Reiner.
You know, those two guys. So now it's back to 11, and if you add, say, Sandra Bullock, Anne Hathaway, and Kate Blanchett, there's your 14.
Yeah.
Not known.
And remember, the way Ocean's 8 ended was Sandra Bullock at his crypt saying, "You better be dead." I honestly was waiting for, like, not for Clooney to show up, but like a hand to be put on her shoulder, and then that's how it's going to end. That's what I was waiting for.
I don't necessarily need that, but yeah, I kind of thought, like, that's where they're going.
Yeah.
Elliot Gould was in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yep. And so was the Asian cat. He was in it, and who else was in it? There was Matt Damon in that one.
No, not that I remember. I feel like I would remember.
I don't think
that.
Matt Damon was in 8.
I remember Elliot Gould being in it.
Elliot Gould and the Asian cat was in it. That's all I know. That's all I can remember. So they had some connection to the original crew.
And it's not, and especially now in the age of, like, Matt Damon being in something isn't necessarily, like, selling it. It's like, okay, but yeah, put them all in a movie, and, they're all still doing good stuff. They all still look good. It's not like any of them are, like, bald or what. Like, it's like, oh, they all still, Brad Pitt, these are all great guys you can put on a movie poster. Do it and just see what happens. I'm day one. Reboot it with Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. Don't need to reboot it.
Yeah, I don't need that shit.
Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling.
I think they want to do some kind of prequel thing with that, if it ever happens.
Why?
Money.
Danny. Oh shit. Oh.
I see.
Danny. It's like, all right, Danny.
My list. My list has a gang of video game reboots, like Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat, Hitman.
Mostly bad.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat was pretty good.
Yeah.
Resident Evil was way more game accurate.
Exactly what I was going to say. Not particularly good, but very game accurate.
Like the average Mila Jovovich movie? No. And those weren't great.
No.
But they were something. I felt that watching the TV show. I remember being like, you know what? Fuck you. I'll always have my Jovovich movies.
So I also enjoyed the new one that they came out. Welcome to Raccoon City. I enjoyed that one.
It's all right. It was more game accurate.
Yeah.
It felt. I remember watching it being like, this feels like Resident Evil. Resident Evil. What was it? Retribution or whatever. Like, those don't feel like Resident Evil at all. I'm like, this is Underworld.
Yeah, those are their own lore that are just called Resident Evil.
But Mila Jovovich.
Indeed.
That plus, that's, yes.
That's it. That's it.
And whatever new metal shit they were banging on the soundtrack, I was like, no.
I've never seen the TV series on Netflix, so I'll take your word that it was pretty bad, and I'm not going to even try.
I'm not going to see that shit either.
It's good on the show. He was good on the show, and then he passed away, and I was like, man, fuck. He was on that stupid show, and he was, like, weirdly really good in it. He played, what's his name? I don't remember the names, but what's his name? Who's the Game of Thrones guy? Played him in movies.
Wesker.
Not Whistler, but
no, that's Blair.
That's technically, I think, who Lance Reddick ended up being on the show.
Gotcha.
Another video game reboot that isn't horrible. Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander.
No. And I'm upset that she's not coming back.
Facts.
Yeah. Better than Angelina Jolie movies, which again goes back to, I said, that like level of iconicism, like that self-awareness. So I think we go back and we remember those movies being better than they are because
they're not good.
You think of the poster, you think of Angelina Jolie, and you're like, yes.
Yeah, she looks unbelievably attractive on those posters, but those movies are trash.
There's a level though of just like, I don't know, just the era. Like you go back. I think you go on Twitter and people romanticize movies like Van Helsing. They're like, oh, they were cooking with this. And it's like, this was a 3 out of 5 if I've ever watched a 3 out of 5. Like, they do it with The Mummy. If I'm being, bluntly honest. The Mummy's good with Brendan Fraser. That's a good movie. People enjoy it.
Mhm.
People talk about The Mummy now
And
like
Returns.
it's dark, and I'm like, it was fun.
Man,
Let's
because
relax.
he got his award and did The Whale, and he's having this return to the spotlight. Steven Sommers can cook a fun action summer blockbuster.
It was fun. Maybe slightly better than average.
Yeah.
Maybe a little better than average.
Those first two, I'm going 3.5 or 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm like, 3.5 Mummy. Like, yeah, it's good.
You take him out, you took him away, and you saw what kind of dog shit Tomb of the Dragon Emperor was.
No, it wasn't good.
People were like, we didn't appreciate Brendan Fraser enough. And I was like, I feel like we kind of did.
Go watch Airheads, George of the Jungle. He had a run.
I was like, yeah, he did.
Dudley Do-Right.
Recognizing The Mummy a little more. And Raider kind of falls into that.
Rachel Weisz made a good call, though, when she read that script for that third one. She was like, I'm out. That's why she didn't come back.
Let's get an...
Cause that shit was poo.
But also, the Tomb Raider movies with Jolie, they did spin off two pretty good up-and-coming stars. The first one was Daniel Craig, and the second one was Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler. That's true. That's true.
I also heard the animation or the cartoon Tomb Raider on Netflix is pretty solid. I haven't seen it.
Got a season 2.
So I heard it's pretty solid. So
who I would pay enormous sums of money to see her play live action Lara Croft.
Yes.
Who?
Haley Atwell. I'd watch Haley Atwell watch paint dry.
I'm not going to speak more on that. No. Alicia Vikander as well. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, if we're being objective, gross men, hot. And they weren't even, like, sexualizing her version of
That's our bread and butter.
it. It was just, she's very attractive. But I remember thinking the movie was good, and it was kind of more in the vein of they kind of rebooted the video game series, too, if you recall. I haven't been into games
because, like,
in 10 years, but they sort of rebooted the games.
They did a remodel of the character, and the breastises were not triangular anymore.
Which was, it was time.
It's
time. Like, it was like, we don't, the blocky and the short shorts.
Chesticles.
It's time. It was time to reboot Lara Croft. And that's what the Vikander movie kind of was. And I remember thinking, good. And it just kind of like broke even.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it flopped. I just remember them being like, I don't know if we're getting a second one. I was like, really? What was it? Didn't like Black Panther, wasn't that like still around? And it just kind of like softened the blow of Tomb Raider coming out.
March of 2018, the trash Pacific Rim was out there, A Wrinkle in Time, Strangers Pray at Night. Nothing really was like dominating outside of Black Panther. Maybe Game Night.
No, it wasn't. Game Night probably didn't do $200 million.
Game Night's a fantastic movie.
But
Exactamundo.
Have you seen about video games, shows, and all that? Randy, have you?
Probably not.
I think you've seen The Last of Us, right?
No, I'm waiting for season 2.
Nick, you've seen The Last of Us.
I did.
I'm the Last of Us who hasn't seen The Last of Us.
You really?
I think that is the best show when it comes to video adaptation. Like, it's phenomenal.
Probably the best video game adaptation
ever.
I'll watch it around like April, because I know they've kind of like hinted at a release date for season 2.
Yeah, I'm honest. Like, it's on like a different, like, to me, like the best video game movie is probably like Detective Pikachu. I stand back and look, and I'm like, most of them, it's like Detective Pikachu or like Sonic. Like one of the movies that like knows exactly what it is and isn't trying to be like fucking like Assassin's Creed. It's like this is, Sonic the Hedgehog is the most straightforward thing. I liked Gran Turismo, if that counts. I thought that was
it.
That was a good one. That was fun.
Counts. I thought it was a good
movie.
movie.
My favorite video game movies are Gran Turismo and Mario from last year.
Mario's fantastic. It was good too. But Last of Us, man, you got like, I know you're not a gamer, you don't play it. I would say look it up on YouTube. Watch some gameplay of the first one, and then just watch the show. Like Shelby has seen me play I think part 1 and parts of part 2. She doesn't even remember part 2, which is great. She cried watching this show, and I'm like, "This is a fucking video game." You know what I mean? It's like that's how good the show is, and plus, there's people that do like the cutscenes. They do movies of the cutscenes from the 2 video games.
Oh, that's cool.
And those are like phenomenal as well. I'm just saying, is like I highly recommend if you ain't doing shit, just watch the show.
To me, it feels like HBO just found a video game that was similar to The Walking Dead and started cooking.
Sort of.
But yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
They passed Walking Dead pretty famously. At that in its heyday, but it's different. It doesn't feel derivative,
I agree.
Video game.
So
I remember
we got the Mandalorian. Reed Richards. We got Pedro Pascal, who's kind of like Rick.
Yeah.
And Shorty from Game of Thrones is there also.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
good. I'm telling you.
I can't wait for the second season. I'm scared. I'm kind of scared. Like I said, I know how the game. I play both games. They're working on the third game, so they say.
Really?
But I want to see how this goes. I want to see how this goes because if people have never played the game, watch the show, it's gonna get real interesting.
Well, I want to see how wrapping up this episode goes. Segue. We covered a lot of reboots. I thought we'd have like a 5-minute conversation. It turned into about an hour and a half. Didn't cover everything. Covered a lot, though. In a week, I'm thinking a Ridley Scott discussion.
I'll be ready.
Of course you will.
I'll be ready. Because I'm doing it.
I don't think we're getting Eric back next weekend, but maybe the episode after. Something Christmassy. Comments. Hit us up. Tell us what reboots you like, what reboots you don't. Talk about your Quincy Jones, Tony Todd memories, or what you think about a new scary movie coming out. I'll be back. They'll be back next week. It's Reg League. Yo. Hypochondriac. At least I think I'm ill. Y'all about to get emotional. I'm just trying to keep it real. But at the same time, I couldn't give a fuck how you feel. Like me or unfollow, I'm the baby face and the heel. What I expect of people, I just try to do the same. Not a breathing soul knows I stay living in pain. But don't nobody know, cause I'm not one to complain. I'm an open book if you ask, but on wax I ain't about to explain. See, I truly don't give a fuck about no politics. But let me tell you what the logic is. You fucking idiots love drama and talking all that excrement. Unless you leave the country, that is your fucking president. Not everybody gets their way. You just spoiled and entitled. Control the controllables and have a coke and a smile. Y'all want to be out here on some blaming shit with the victim mentality. Try to make some community change unless you only worried about you as a casualty. And chill until the next episode.